What's up, people? I am back for another video. We're here to kind of continue on doing some Keanu Reeves movies, and today I decided to do, in my opinion, one of the best, probably his best action movies. That I feel like people like it. You know, it's very much well liked, but I don't feel like it gets talked about a lot. The movie Speed, which came out in '94, so a few years after Point Break. Um, so before I get into this, tomorrow I'm gonna be doing. I'm not gonna be doing a review. I'm gonna be doing. I saw. We watched a movie since Scream Five came out. They did of their favorite kills from the franchise. So I want to do mine. But I will spoil. There won't be any from the new one. Not just because I don't like the movie. Just the kills in it weren't that good that I can honestly, sincerely put it in mind. So it's gonna probably be 10. If I can't think of 10, I'll be 5. But I think I can do 10. But so that'll be tomorrow, and then Friday, I will finally get to this Generation Hope video where I'm gonna mock it. I'll go more into it on Friday. So, but now back to Speed. This is, in my opinion, one of Keanu Reeves' best movies. His performance is really good. It's not like Oscar worthy, but it doesn't have to be. It's an action movie. I think the score is really good. Like, it keeps you hooked. Like, every scene is intense because of the music. Even though some can argue the music isn't like groundbreaking, it's some music I kind of have heard in other films, but who cares? I think Dennis Hopper as Howard Payne is such a good bad guy. I like that he did on his own. He didn't have like he's not like Hans Gruber who had an entire crew with him. He did this on his own. I like that he was more of a mental villain, and mental villains are always a good thing. There's nothing wrong with having your physical villains, and there are villains who could be both. But there's nothing wrong with having your physical bad guys who are just bigger and just will fuck you up. But there's nothing wrong with a villain that will fuck with your head. And I think Howard Dennis Hopper did that really good in this movie. Sandra Bullock as Annie was really good. I think, in my opinion, one of my favorite Sandra Bullock movies, even though she's a side character, she's not the main character. Um, Jeff Daniels, who you might recognize as the dude from Dumb and Dumber, is in this movie as Harry, his best friend and partner in SWAT. I think is really a good character. Even though and I think he showed he can be a really serious character, serious actor. Because I know a lot of people mainly remember him from Dumb and Dumber. So, and then you have um, the bot. I kept trying to think of the name. Oh, Joe. When you have Joe Morton, who you might recognize as um from you might recognize him from Terminator 2. He's in a lot of stuff. He was recently in Justice League, but he's in a lot of stuff, and I think he actually is really good in this movie too. Um, so all around, I think a great movie. I love, I live in this shitty state, so I do think there are some really good shots. The scenes where they're on the highway, I really like that they made. It was from a helicopter, but I really like that they incorporate because it's like almost watching like if you watch news chases on like when you see a chase on the freeway from a newscopter. I like that they made it look like that. I think the final act's really fun. The final confrontation between Howard and Jack Tavern Travern Travin. Sorry, not there's no R. So basically, the story is the opening. Even like the opening, it gets going pretty quick. Howard tries to rob um, an elevator full of people, ransom, gets foiled by Jack and his partner Harry. Like I think not a year later, the next day. Next day, Howard basically personally decides to get revenge and takes a blows up one bus and then takes control of another bus, and Jack basically must stop it. That's pretty much most of the film, and like the film gets going pretty quick. It's the pacing's awesome, and just yeah, I think the side characters on the bus are really fun. You know, I know to some people they might come off annoying, but I think when you get into the movie, they start getting better and better, and it's a great cat and mouse film. So, but yeah, get started here. Well, the movie opens. Howard. Another thing I really like about this movie, for like the first, I would say 30, 40, about not 30, about 40 minutes to an hour, we don't even know his name. We just see Dennis Hopper. We don't even really know his name, which I really like. So the moment the one cop lady reveals his name, I really like that. Like, you don't know who this guy is. So, Howard kills a guard at one of the buildings. A group of full of people get on an elevator, and he straps a bomb to one of them, blows it up. but but you know, no one has died yet. But he basically takes control of the elevator, and he wants a ransom for $3 million. So SWAT arrive. Um, Sergeant, the Lieutenant Herb Mack, which is Joe Morton's character, gives like the rundown. Like, this film gets going quick. Like, that's the thing about. I mean, I'm not one like I like slow build, but I do sometimes love when a film just gets going from the fucking jump. So Harry and Jack go together and basically have to try to get the bomb. So they kind of check the situation out, but then they decide to I think you get a hook from one of the construction machines and hook it, and and I like how like they make Howard like have this. He has like um a hearing thing, like to hear the police coming and stuff. He starts noticing something's wrong. Blows one of the things. Harry and Jack are forced to evacuate the people. The whole scene is done really well. Um, so they get the people out. They Harry theorizes that the bomber is in one of the freight elevators. So they get one of the freight elevators, and um, but so Howard shoots the shoots the ceiling, and Harry falls through. Takes Harry hostage. Threatens basically to blow him up, and um the and Jack ends up shooting Harry in the leg. And I love the face Dennis makes. He's like, "What the fuck?" He did not expect that. So he runs up, but activates the bomb. Um, the men get praised for their effort. I even like the little joke is like, "You're getting Harry's like, you're getting a fucking reward for fucking shooting me in the leg." It's fucking like the humor is really good in this movie. This was at a time movies knew how to pace humor. You're gonna see me talk about this a lot. You're gonna see me talk about this a lot in like, older movie reviews, is how much they used to like, because too many movies now, because that's like I've done so many videos on this, like, amount of humor that's shoved in movies, so it's kind of nice to see when movies just get that right amount. So they celebrate, the next morning. Jack is I think out getting like at like some, I think like at like a coffee shop, One of the bus drivers, greets him, says hello, gets in the bus, and then boom, bus explodes. Like, man, you think you have a quiet moment? Nope. Like the very next scene, another explosion. Phone rings. It's Howard, but we don't know his name still at this point in the movie. Basically tells him his plan, that he wants revenge for foiling the job he did, and basically tells him the bus that has the bomb. And it's so good. He's such a man. Dennis Hopper really did this really good. Like in terms of like acting performance, he's probably my favorite in the movie. I love Keanu, but he was so good in this. Like the cat and mouse character, we don't know his name for like the first 40, 50 minutes to about 40 to an hour or so in the movie. We don't even know his name, which I really like. So Jack has to get to the bus. We see the bus that has the bomb, and we see some people on board. This is where we meet Annie the first time, and we kind of see the kind of characters we see on the bus. Um, and basically, and I love how they explain. Basically, the bus has to stay above 50 miles per hour, or if it goes below, it blows up. So he ends up basically stealing a dude's car because he couldn't catch it. Well, the moment he caught up to the bus, they thought he was just some crazy guy, and he doesn't have sirens or anything. So he steals this dude's car, which is pretty funny, and his cell phone. And he's talking to Jack and like his higher ups about, oh, there's the bomb, and he says it's the guy who did it before. Reaches the bus and tries to tell the bus driver, realizes it's a bomb, but he pretty much, Jack has to talk him through, like, don't, you cannot slow down, you have to go this certain speed. He ends up getting on the bus and fucking up this dude's car. It's pretty funny. So he gets on the bus. One of the passengers um, who freaks out because he's like a criminal and he freaks out and tries to shoot, which this is stupid, but so he does that, and then he gets taken down, but ends up accidentally shooting the bus driver, and Annie has to basically take over, and the guy's handcuffed to the to like one of the railings, and then they get led through one of the they basically get led on they basically the police have to lead them through a route to one of the freeways that is basically empty. So we get like this kind of crazy, like the driving scenes are really fun. Like the moment like they're on, like there's a chase scene or Annie has to like drive through the city. It's fucking fun, and the music keeps you pumped too. Like I gotta say that, like watching this, that's like another thing I was really noticing. Like the music isn't like some like classic score, but it keeps you pumped. Like because there's so many like precarious, crazy positions of like, especially like Keanu's character gets into a couple times in the movie, where it's like, yeah, the music fucking works. It's like it keeps you pumped up. Like, okay, what's fucking gonna happen next? And I think they really, the title is perfect for this fucking movie because man, you're really almost are like you feel like you're with them on that fucking bus. So they get led onto the freeway. We get another scene of Howard um, taunting, taunting Jack, which I really love. He's such a good bad guy. So they get led onto the freeway, and Mac wants to get basically wants to get the passengers off, but one of the rules was Jack couldn't let any of the passengers off because Howard has basically a helicopter in the air watching the whole, has something, basically he knows he's watching the whole time. So he they contact he Howard gets contacted. Jack asks Howard basically, can you let me let the guy who got shot out? He says fine, and he basically says if you pull anything, and so Jack um, lets the guy out, but one of the lady passengers freaks the fuck out and tries to get off. She gets blown the fuck up, and it's such a sad scene. And I think cause she was freaking out. She wanted to just get out. She, you could. I'm mixed, cause yeah, it was stupid as fuck what she did. But then I also look at it like, this is your opportunity. You don't fucking know what's going on. So, but she risked it. She blew up, and the way I love the way because Annie was like right fucking there. She was like only a couple of feet away when she got blown up. They didn't blow up like the whole bus. They blew up like a part of the bus where the bus was still able to drive. So it was a crazy scene though. So Jack then Howard continues to um, then Jack learns and Jack and then because one of the SWAT members reveals that they realize that one of the freeway isn't complete and there's like a 50-foot like drop or in like basically gap between the sides. So Jack basically decides, you know what, he's gonna have Annie accelerate and maybe there's an incline. While this is happening, um, Harry and like a couple of other officers. I think this is where we get the reveal of his name, which is perfect. Howard Payne. That basically he was a disgruntled officer, or I think bomb squad member specifically, who got like his I think thumb injured, or one of his fingers injured, and he basically only got like a cheap watch pension because there's a scene where Jack is looking under the bus. I think that's a bit later. It's a bit later, but looking under the bus and he sees a golden watch. So back on the bus, um, they do the dive. They manage to make it, make the jump, and then I think this is where they decide to drive into the Los Angeles International Airport, basically to keep away the helicopters because initially, um, Jack thinks like Howard has like a helicopter in the sky. Um, so yeah, then um, Harry leads his own set of SWAT guys to Howard's house while Jack decides he's gonna try to disarm the bomb himself because he convinces Howard to let him off the bus. So while Annie keeps driving the bus, so this is where we get like a cool stunt scene with basically. I think Keanu actually did this stunt because there are most movies you can kind of tell when it's a stunt man at times. It's not all movies, but some movies there's usually like an edit in an action scene you could tell. I think that was him. Like the way I was watching it, it looked like it was him. And even if it wasn't, it was a crazy because he was under the bus. He was almost getting hit. He was trying to figure out like what the bomb was. While this was before Harry left with his SWAT squad. So because this is the mention of the Golden Watch. But they realize they can't disarm the bomb, and his thing ends up getting destroyed. So back at Howard's house, it seems just too perfect. It's empty, and then Harry notices there's a bomb. House basically is rigged to explode. House blown up. Um, and to save him, so back on the bus, to save himself, Jack ends up accidentally stabbing the fuel tank because he has to, from basically getting squashed. So the people on the bus help him because they cut like a thing in the middle open. They help him in. Jack gets a call about Harry's death, and I thought this scene was really good. Keanu's acting. But yeah, Keanu's acting in this scene because Keanu's acting in this scene is really good because it's like his reaction is like if because Harry is his best friend, you know. They've done everything together. And he's been kind of throughout the film seen as the guy calming everyone down, the people freaking out. But he starts freaking out, and Annie has to calm him down. He ends up getting calmed down. Um, and then after another call with Howard, Jack realizes that Howard's been watching the whole time because he has a camera rigged in front of Annie. That's because they mentioned Wildcats, where Annie goes to I don't remember the school name specifically, but the mascot is Wildcats. So he realizes Jack. So Howard had a camera the whole time in the camera. Howard had a camera the whole time in the bus. He informs Mac. Mac gets a hold of the news truck and basically tells him the news to loop the video. So basically, this is where they start evacuating. Um, they start evacuating the hostages. Then Annie and Jack have to get off the bus, basically in a kind of an extreme way, and let the bus drive itself off to a plane and blow up. We get a cool explosion scene. There's a couple of them in this movie. So after this basically they start kind of. I think this is where they kind of start going out basically from this point on. They head Jack and Mac and the rest of the group head to Pershing Square to make the drop, to make it seem like, oh, they're gonna drop the money to Howard. Howard realizes that the video that he's been watching is a loop. He freaks the fuck out, goes undercover as a cop, kidnaps Annie. I think basically makes her take the money. Jack realizes, follows Payne because there's a secret like underground thing. Follows Payne, um, but Payne then basically straps or has strapped a bomb to Annie, takes Annie with him, basically because he wants Annie to be because he wants to take the money and make sure because he's gonna blow it up anyway, and he wants to make. Then he basically sees the line where he says they're not gonna count the body parts. So while Payne basically takes control of a subway, handcuffs Annie to a railing, kills the bus driver, not the bus driver, the train driver. Sorry. Um, then Jack shows up. The money is has rigged with ink like that. It's in real life where they ink it with or a dye pack basically, so the bills are marked and you can't use them. Howard freaks out, fights with Jack on top of the bus. I mean, on top of the fucking subway. Sorry, fucking sorry. Um, but while trying to strangle Travin, he ends up getting decapitated. His dad's pretty fucking brutal, to be honest. It's like, god damn. So he ends up, um, he deactivates the vest with Annie, and then basically can't free her from the pole. So he basically handcuffs each other, and they basically crash through, and they survive, and they kiss, and film ends. This movie is fucking great. It's so fun. The action is great. Dennis Hopper's performance is, I'm gonna say it, it's almost up there with fucking um Alan Rickman as Hans Gruber. It's almost up there. Like, he's so fucking good. The fact and he's a bad guy who they give you like a somewhat of a backstory. He's basically a disgruntled bomb squad guy. He wants money. He feels like he's earned his money, and basically, but he's just gonna do bad shit for it. Not too complicated, but he's also a good bad guy in that sense. Jack's a great hero. Keanu, his performance isn't amazing or anything. Definitely his acting gets better down, like, you know, down the line, especially by the Matrix movies. But it's like, it's fine. It works for this movie. And I'm not one of these people, action movies, especially in this time period, you didn't need to be the most amazing actor. I think it works. Jeff Daniels was great. Joe Morton was great. Just an all around great cast. The action set pieces were great. It was a simple film. It wasn't over the top, and I don't think it's a Die Hard ripoff at all. I think the only element is a solo. Even though he wasn't fully solo, he had people outside trying to help him. Whereas Die Hard, it was mainly John um, and Carl Winslow. Basically, that was like his only outside help. But besides that, I really think this movie stood on its own. And yeah, they made a shitty sequel. I don't know why. Even if Keanu was in it, this movie to me didn't need a sequel because ultimately you're just gonna do the same thing over. At least with the Die Hard sequels, they did different stuff with them. It wasn't just a retread of the first one. I feel like with this, ultimately, how are you gonna do a sequel? Call it Speed 2 and not basically just do the same thing, but it's just on a different vehicle. Oh, it's on a train or it's on a boat. I think that's what, or it's gonna be on a plane. Like it's just gonna be the same movie. Fundamentally, you're gonna just be doing the same thing over again. Where Jack's in a situation and he has to. You can't do that kind of story. It doesn't work more than once. I think it's fine as a standalone movie. Dennis Hopper was great. I think that was the other downside of that second one. It was just generic bad guys. But heavily recommend one of Keanu's best movies in my opinion, almost up there with The Matrix to be honest. Um, Especially if you like that like early mid 80s to mid 90s action films. It fits right in there. I think the cinematography is really good. I just think all around, just everything is perfect about this movie. So I would probably give this one a 10 out of 10 in terms of an action film. Like it's a perfect action movie, in my opinion. There's nothing wrong with it. I can't name one. So definitely, definitely cheers to this movie because